This is The Big Show. The Big Show.
Happy Friday, Seawolves. Welcome to another rendition of The Big Show. Yes, The Big Show. This show features the work of students from the School of Communication and Journalism. I'm your host, Nikola Knežević. While natural ice has melted here at Stony Brook, some at the university expressed their concern regarding ice presence on college campuses. We sent Aisha Suleimana to the Academic Mall fountain earlier this week, where a demonstration was held.
No ice! No KKK, no fascist USA! No ice! No KKK, no fascist USA!
So behind me are some students of Stony Brook that are protesting and demanding that the school authorities do something about the ice raids that have been happening.
And the idea of this protest here today is to unite against ICE. So ICE and other federal agencies have been ramping up their activity exponentially across the country and on Long Island. In Nassau and Suffolk County, local law enforcement have been collaborating with ICE. We've also seen ICE raids on universities, including at Columbia University. There's been a student abducted from a dorm. So we are realizing that we're in a dire situation that requires action from the campus community and the campus administration to protect students against ICE.
Greason says the protest is meant to push the administration to take action and to make sure people on campus know what to do if an ICE raid happens.
We have demands like implementing Know Your Rights trainings across campus, creating private ICE-free areas that ICE is not allowed to enter without a signed judicial warrant, and putting signage up on campus to remind people of their rights and remind people where ICE is not allowed to go. In the absence of communication from the people running the university, people know what their rights are and they know how to stay safe in the event of an ICE raid. So we're also encouraging people at this protest to join our efforts, educate their colleagues, roommates, friends, family, etc. We have also tried to make sure that UPD is not involved in mediating interactions between students, workers on campus, and ICE or DHS agents, because local law enforcement in many cases have been known to collaborate with ICE.
Greason says their concerns aren't new and that they first brought these demands to the university officials more than a year ago, but nothing has been done.
All of these demands have been met with hand-wringing about legal liability, how it's too complicated, or most commonly, we're thinking about it but we can't give a response yet. It's been 14 months since we initially issued these demands, and there has been no concrete action taken by the university.
Guardiola from Peru joined the protest to highlight her research work on migration. She believes people's voices matter and encourages others to hold on to hope, even when those voices may seem insignificant.
To don't keep silence, to keep talking about stuff, even though it might seem like it could be hopeless. Also, my message is to keep going on. Sometimes we don't have to change the world, sometimes we just have to change how our community sees us, how our friends in class sees us, and that is a lot of work. That is such a good and great work because sometimes we feel like what we do is not worth it just because we don't see it resonated within other spheres. So keep the hope up.
And that hope for change has spread nationwide, as many have expressed their disapproval of the current administration. Our very own Caitlin Becker and Aisha Diomande traveled to Port Jefferson Station to document a local No Kings protest.
On Saturday, March 28th, the No Kings protest swept across the nation, one of the largest protests in American history.
It's 37 degrees today out here at Port Jefferson Station, but it feels like 27 degrees, and that's not stopping thousands of people from coming out and showing their support for No Kings Day. Let's get on to action and see what today's all about.
I'm happy to be a part of this resistance. So I'm actually running to be the chairwoman of the Suffolk County Democratic Committee. And so I know a lot of these wonderful folks here, and I believe that the Democratic Party should be galvanizing and using this energy to be propelling us forward and our candidates forward, and the message that we can be better than this nation is right now. And that Donald Trump thinks he is a king, but he is not. And this is the people telling the wannabe king that we are in charge, that we run this country, not him.
Somewhere.
Pretty much everything he did when Mussolini came to power is exactly the same thing in the same sequence that Donald Trump has done, as if somebody was reading it as a manual to him.
I cannot believe he's just stepping over everything. The administration, and they're like brain dead. And I will do everything and anything that I can at my age to help all of you young people to say we just got to fight, and we've got to show our voices, get back all the rights that we lost, that I fought for, and my people my age fought for in the late 60s, 70s.
We have to make a stand. We have to show the world that we are not part of this nonsense. This is wrong. Every part of this is wrong.
And what does No King's Day mean to you?
He is a dictator, or trying to become a dictator. And he needs to be taken out of office.
The purpose of the protest was to assert that we are a democracy, not a monarchy.
There's no question that the Department of Justice has been busy since President Trump returned to office. With many crises to manage, a drastic shakeup has been made. Here's Ethan Surujanaran with a brief update.
There is no greater president than Donald Trump.
A sudden shakeup inside the Trump administration. Donald Trump has removed Attorney General Pam Bondi after months of mounting pressure. Once seen as one of his most loyal allies, Bondi's departure comes amid internal frustration over high-profile investigations and unmet expectations at the Justice Department. The move signals a dramatic shift in leadership at the nation's top law enforcement agency.
Thanks, Ethan. Across town at the Pentagon, the purge continues. The Army's Chief of Staff, General Randy George, has been removed from his post by Secretary Hegseth. According to the New York Times, long-running grievances from Hegseth and his tension with Army Secretary Daniel Driscoll led to George's firing. It remains to be seen how the conflict in Iran and other military operations will be affected by this news. And for whatever reason, the winds have changed not only in the Pentagon, but on Long Island as well. Here is our expert meteorologist, Jake Ericchio, with the latest weather.
Happy Friday, Seawolves. Unfortunately, you wouldn't really know it's a happy Friday just looking at the weather. Consistent clouds throughout the day today, high of around 62, low of around 40 degrees, and the wind has been gusting as high as around 8 miles an hour all day. Moving into the Easter weekend, the weather doesn't exactly brighten up as the holiday suggests it should. Wind will be present throughout the weekend, clouds present throughout the weekend, even on Easter Sunday, around an 80% chance of rain around this time. So heavy jackets like this are a necessity. By the time school and work resumes on Monday, professors, students, and everybody else in between will have to deal with the glass half full. The sun will be out, but it will be chilly, so make sure to bring those jackets. That'll be all for me. Back to you, Nick.
Thanks, Jake. Nowadays, the weather is as unpredictable as the current administration, so it's important that we keep updated regularly. And now something that people in the US and the world haven't heard of since the 70s. Just like the words in the American national anthem, it was rocket's red glare earlier this week.
Booster ignition and liftoff.
A blast off to the moon. NASA's Artemis II rocket officially launched on April 1st at Kennedy Space Center in Florida at 6:35 p.m. The rocket is occupied by NASA's Commander Reed Wiseman, pilot Victor Glover, mission specialist Christina Koch, and mission specialist Jeremy Hansen from the Canadian Space Agency. Hansen will be the first ever Canadian on a moon-related expedition. The crew is set to go on a 10-day mission extending over 685,000 miles in distance around the moon and back. The rocket will be doing a flyby circumnavigating the moon. NASA claims that the primary goal of the mission is to prove that the recently developed SLS rocket will be able to handle future landings on the Moon and possibly Mars. Artemis 2 is expected to reach the Moon on Monday, April 6th, and return back to Earth by April 10th. And something else was also out of this world this week: New York sports. Here's Alex Rodriguez with a recap of the week.
Thanks, Nicola. Sports in New York got a little scripted this week, and then a little too real. Just one night after WWE Monday Night Raw took over Madison Square Garden, the Rangers and Devils brought the chaos right back to MSG. In Tuesday night's 4-1 win for the Blue Shirts, Rangers goalie Igor Shesterkin dropped the gloves with Devils netminder Jacob Markstrom in a goalie fight, a rare sight in the NHL and already the third one this season. Shesterkin, who got the better of the exchange, also stopped 22 out of 23 shots on net as the Rangers snapped New Jersey's season sweep hopes. Over to baseball, where the Yankees are set to open the doors to the Bronx this Friday afternoon. New York's home opener comes against the Miami Marlins, where both teams are off to a very hot start with 5-1 records. As the Yankees look to maintain their early momentum in front of a packed Yankee Stadium crowd, the excitement around the Bronx should only continue heading to their first 3-game set at home. Shifting over from the Bronx over to Queens, the Mets are looking to regroup after a 7-2 loss to the Giants Thursday night in San Francisco. New York got on the board early, but another quiet night offensively with the Bats proved too much to overcome. David Peterson was tagged for 5 earned runs in 4 1/3 innings, and now the Mets will hand the ball to Nolan McLean on Friday night as they try to bounce back heading into the weekend. Back on Long Island, a headline few saw coming. Former Cy Young winner Trevor Bauer has signed with the Long Island Ducks. Bauer is expected to make his debut on April 21st in Central Islip, giving the Ducks one of the biggest names independent baseball has seen in years. The 35-year-old Bauer pitched in Japan last season, finishing with a 4.51 ERA in 21 games for the Yokohama Bay Stars. Now to Stony Brook, where the women's lacrosse team keeps on rolling. The Seawolves knocked off number 20 Princeton 10-8 on Wednesday night, stretching their win out to 6 games. Olivia Shore started the scoring just 38 seconds into the match, and they were able to keep the lead from that point on. Sitting near the top of the CAA standings at 10-2, they'll look to make it 7 straight on Friday against Towson as the race for conference tournament positioning starts to really heat up. Stony Brook baseball also delivered some late drama this week. The Seawolves walked it off against UNC Wilmington on Thursday, winning 7-6 in 10 innings after Nick Zamperone came through with the game-winning single. They will have their second of 3 games on Friday afternoon at Joe Nathan Field. Lastly, Stony Brook men's lacrosse returns home this weekend looking to keep pace in the CAA. The Seawolves are coming off a 16-10 road win over Fairfield, a game where Kean McCoy totaled 8 points and 4 different players recorded hat tricks. They'll be back at Laval Stadium on Saturday afternoon as they host Marist. That's all the sports this week for me. Back to you, Nicola.
And amongst all the chaos happening around the world, there's a bit of lighthearted tradition. For those that celebrate, enjoy your Easter bunnies and your Easter eggs. I don't know how those two correlate, but I can't complain because I love chocolate. Well, that's it for today. I've been Nikola Knežević. See you next week, Seawolves.